So I have something that, is maybe a little bit embarrassing, a little bit goofy, but I think it's cool, and so I want to share it with you. So back in junior year of high school, so 16, 17 years old, my friends and I started to develop a language. That's right. And we called it Qanji. And basically, Qanji is all about creating slang or different words for certain circumstances and just kind of like try to up the ante of how ridiculous and complex of a word you can make. So it started out very basic. Maybe we would do really badly on a test and we would just like spurt out like, man, that was just Durbix, or that was absolute remunks, like something weird, something goofy. And then over time, we started to create suffixes and prefixes, and now we have different patterns of words that often come up, and it's gotten like surprisingly complicated. And over time, it's developed beyond just words, and now into like hand gestures and like our mannerisms. So so now one that we all do a lot, me and my friends, is if someone screws something up, and it'll be like, oh, like kind of shake the hand and kind of tilt the head, and like we've all like adopted the same mannerism of like, no, be careful there, we'll do stuff like that, and it's just it's goofy, it's funny, it's silly, but it's become part of our humor and the way that we communicate with each other. Another big part about Qanji is back still in high school. One of our friends of friends, kind of like school friends, he was referencing the idea of tilt, right? So if you like to play games, or I think poker is where it comes from, but sometimes you're doing really badly in a game, or someone said something that just, knocked you off your rhythm, and you would call that being tilted. And so one of my friends, I don't know, he might have just misheard what he had said, this other friend of a friend, but he turned it into dilt. So you go from tilt to dilt. And a dilt is basically any time you screw up. So like if you slip on a banana peel, that was a dilt. Or if you overcooked your steak, that's a dilt, right? But then, over time we have to up the ante. So then we went from dilt to dolt. And dolt is actually a real word. It means a stupid person, I think. But in Qanji, dolt is like a super dilt. So if you got, pulled over by the cops or something, that would be a big dolt. And dolt started to take on a different meaning of not just dilt, but like the action of a dilt occurring. So you'd be like, dolt! You kind of like use the hand gesture there again, right? And so it's just become like this super complex, like funny ecosystem we've made of different words and mannerisms. And then one of my other friends, he's got another entirely different group of friends. He started to adopt dilt and dolt and all these words, and then they started to develop their own words. So like this other group, they developed a Boinger, right? And a Boinger apparently is like it's kind of like a dilt, like something that you screwed up. But I think they said it was something like a stomach ache, like, oh man, I've got the Boingers or something like that, like something that sucks. And it just made me laugh because this is something that was started out as a silly joke, and now it's become like slang amongst our friend groups. And for all I know, maybe people will start using it if they hear this video. I mean, my girlfriend would laugh because she said before that she thinks it's my fantasy that dolt and dilt become like internet slang. And I mean, that would be pretty cool. But it's just become a big part of our lives. And we're not taking ourselves too seriously, because that's my main point with all of this, is that when you live your life in a way where you just feel like you got to keep that straight-edged persona, you can't crack jokes, you got to be professional all times, I feel like it's just a really lifeless way to live. I mean, I know no one actually lives that way. Most people have some personality to them. But I think that social media, in a way, has created an environment where people feel like they have to have an image. Like you have to be perfect, and you can't show your personality because people will think that you're weird or something. Like I think a lot about, I mean, I shit on alpha males a lot, TikTok alpha males. But there's a lot of guys out there online that think they have to put on this macho personality where they can't show any weakness or goofiness to them, right? And I remember watching a video from Joey Swole, I think that's his name. He's like a fitness creator. And he made a video once of, like, he's a huge dude. He's like very, very muscular. and he did a video of him sitting in a bathtub, just like playing with rubber duckies in like a bubble bath, and it was just like a really funny image to see like this super jacked dude acting like a child. Like it was hilarious, and that's the kind of stuff that I think people would benefit from more. You know, like learning to laugh at yourself, learning to have fun, and like with Qanji, like making funny words. Like my friends and I, we've thought about when we become dads, it'll be so fun to play with the kids and like use our funny words and our mannerisms from Qanji and like, you know, play with them like that. And like it's just like a goofy, you know, lighthearted way to live, I think, to not be so tightly wound and feel like you got to be a straight-edged person, you know. So, food for thought. You know, I don't think we all have to start saying Dilt and Dolt, even though I think that would be funny. But, you know, just don't take yourself too seriously. But anyways, I'll catch you later.